following the end of the MLS Cup in 2011, once you absorbed the loss and started looking ahead, had to make some changes, looking at salary cap, looking at players. What are the first steps that you start to take as a coaching staff, kind of looking ahead to the next season?
Yeah, I think it's the first thing is to try to get over losing as quickly as possible. We've kind of established a new level here, a new bar, a new expectation for what we should accomplish every year. And if you don't win something, you feel like you failed. That's a difficult world to live in, very difficult. And so you need to move on as quickly as possible, because then there's a lot of difficult decisions that have to happen right away. And that's sometimes can feel unfair too. And so for us, we needed to be honest with ourselves and to say, yeah, we didn't get to where we wanted to get this year. We didn't get to take home any trophies. But if we're honest about how the season went and how many injuries that we incurred, how many games we lost to international call-ups, how many games we lost to odd disciplinary decisions by the men in the middle, we have to feel proud of what we accomplished. We played a lot of guys, a lot of new guys in our system last year. We got a lot of minutes from very young players. We got minutes from players that were playing in the wrong positions. And we still managed to finish the year third place in the league, third most in the league with points, and made it all the way to the conference final. And we're just a hair away from making the final and giving ourselves a chance to win the whole thing. So a lot to be proud of, but then you got to move forward quickly with making extremely difficult decisions. And it's an extremely emotional thing for me in particular to have to say goodbye to people that have done a lot for me and for this club and have meant a lot to me and to this club. And so it was a very, very trying time at the end of the season right after we were done, because I knew that I had a lot of difficult things to tell some people that I really cared about. And so having been able to move past that was a very good thing. Very trying time for me, but once you get past those first couple of weeks, then you start to look around and say, okay, there's going to be a lot of fresh new faces here, and there's a lot to look forward to.
Not a lot of time for you. Talking about making those decisions, players, movement. Kyle Beckerman heading overseas, doing some training, but a lot of people don't know you actually went overseas and spent some time in Germany, a couple different clubs. If you can, kind of tell me, how did that start? How did it come about? And why was it important for you to kind of gain that experience as a head coach?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've spent the last 3 off seasons, right after the season was over, every year for the last 3 years, I've been doing my best to try to get into a European environment, to watch other coaches. I mean, I haven't had hardly any time to kind of take a step back and breathe and see if I can learn. I mean, I was thrust into the job and have been learning on the job ever since. And so I was really hungry over the last 3 seasons to get somewhere, and was amazed at how difficult that is. It's odd to me that teams and coaches in other countries aren't so welcoming as I would be to having coaches there to learn. And so it was an impossibility the last 2 years. I just couldn't find a club that would do it. And then this year with a new connection and with a new relationship that I've established with Jurgen Klinsmann, it showed me another opportunity. And so I asked him if he might be able to have some connections to get me over to Germany. And thankfully, and I'm very grateful for this, he took it and ran with it. And a few days later, he's got 3 clubs lined up for me in times and dates, and what an amazing opportunity it was. I went over there and saw those clubs, from their youth clubs to their U19 teams to their under-23 team to their first team, and really just kind of opened my eyes as to what the world of soccer looks like in other countries, how far I still think we have to go, but also a little bit of reassurance was I felt like we're doing a lot of the right things, because you see a lot of the same activities happening over there in their training sessions and their first teams that we're doing. And perhaps we just got lucky and fell into that, but it did reassure me a little bit that we're headed in the right direction.
Start of a new season, from MLS Combine to the draft itself to starting as really the last team in Major League Soccer to kick off your preseason. Got to be a whirlwind experience for you and the coaching staff to finally get through the physicals, get through the physical testing, and then finally be able to roll the ball out. Yeah,
it is, and it's a time of the year that we tend to get a little bit antsy. You know, you go to the combine and you're watching all this soccer, and you're watching all these young players play, and you leave there and think, gosh, I'd like to take about 6 or 8 of these guys, and then you recognize as you go to the draft, well, maybe I'll get 1 or 2 of them if I'm lucky. And then when you come home, you're kind of ready to start things going. You're kind of in the mood. And then to see other teams going, you start to get a little bit antsy and anxiety about that situation, that you're going to be one of the last starting. But I think that over the last couple of years, we feel like we've made the right choice for us. I think it's a choice for every single club makes their own choice about when they're going to start their preseasons. Everybody's in a different phase of their development as a team, and some teams need a little bit more time and a little bit more training than others. We feel that the right decision for us is to start 6 weeks prior to the first game, and so that's when we started. And the guys have already taken a huge step forward in showing us that we made the right decision, because they come in extremely fit.
Good luck this season. Just appreciate your time.
You bet.